Before I was born, my mum discovered that my biological father was cheating. They began divorce proceedings before she learned she was pregnant with me. When she told him, he claimed it was impossible because he was infertile and accused her of cheating. He demanded a paternity test, but she was emotionally drained. I now suspect he was abusive, though she never confirmed it. Instead, she asked him to sign away his parental rights, since he was convinced I wasn't his. She then moved in with my grandparents. When I was 14, I asked about him and demanded the full story. She shared what I've written above. Being an immature teenage boy, I threatened to run away unless she contacted him. I thought she was just being petty, and that if he had proof I was his son, he'd step up as a dad. When she reached out, he sent a hurtful letter to both of us, calling her vile names that infuriated me and accusing her of trying to extort money from him. That day, I decided I didn't need him in my life. Fast forward to about 8 months ago. He had a near-death experience and tried to contact my mum to apologize. She refused, but he somehow got a picture of me. I looked just like him. He reached out, admitting he was wrong and immature, and said he wanted to know his only child. I refused. Then he tried to bribe me with offers to pay off my student loans, buy me a house and take me on expensive trips. I rejected everything. I told my fiancée, who's 29, everything, and she was supportive at first. Later, she began urging me to accept his money to pay off our loans and help us buy a home. I refused outright. It's worth noting that due to global economic issues, we're in significant debt and postponed our wedding to pay some of it down. Frustrated, I arranged to meet him and told him I'd never take a cent from him, and that if he contacted me again, I'd call the police and pursue a restraining order. When I told my fiancée, she exploded, saying my unilateral financial decision showed I was controlling and selfish. Now she's left and won't answer my calls. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This isn't a financial decision. It's about settling family matters and making it clear you want no relationship with this man. Unfortunately, your fiancé seems more interested in exploiting the situation for money than supporting your feelings. Well said, Stuart. You've just learned a valuable lesson. Your fiancé is manipulating you for financial gain without regard for your emotions. She's revealed her true colors. The more I think about it, the more I'm appalled by her behavior. She left to guilt-trip you into taking money from a potentially abusive person, showing no concern about exposing you to a toxic relationship as long as she benefits financially. You're better off without her. She's only interested in money. Lucky break, dude. She showed you who she is. If she was only interested in money, she wouldn't have stayed with him while they were struggling financially, even delaying their wedding. There's a difference between struggling and doing your best versus exploiting a situation, which is a harsh way to frame it and assumes the dad is trustworthy. I'm voting no idiots here. Your fiancé is being practical while you're being emotional. You feel no connection to this man, and while pride and dignity matter, accepting his money, when he contributed nothing to your upbringing and arguably owes you, could improve your and your fiancé's situation. It wouldn't hurt more or less than your current stance. It's not the most honorable choice or the bigger person thing to do, but practically, it would ease your life and compensate somewhat for growing up without a father. I'm a 33-year-old woman dating my 32-year-old girlfriend for 6 years. She has a teenage son, Max, from a high school relationship. I have a great relationship with both. She has full custody, and Max's dad pays child support. I moved into her house 4 years ago and handle housework. She's the primary breadwinner, does the grocery shopping, cooks dinners and so on, so our household runs efficiently. Recently, she asked me to pick Max up from school in the afternoon. His school, a special needs program across the city, is a 20-minute drive each way. She offered to take the train to work so I could use the car. I refused because I usually finish housework by midday, have lunch, and spend the rest of the day on hobbies like knitting and gardening. She insisted, saying she had work and couldn't make it, but I stood firm. She then said she might charge me rent because I don't do enough housework. I spend my entire morning cleaning, and I believe cleaning is more taxing than her tasks of working, shopping, and cooking. I told her I'm dating her, not her son, and he's not my responsibility. She countered that it's a package deal and that he's my responsibility as long as I live in her house, rent-free. I found this manipulative and uncalled for. Since then, she's been distant. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. You finish by midday and think you work harder than your girlfriend. Give me a break. Laundry and dishes are nothing compared to what she does. How dirty does the house get that you're scrubbing for hours daily? She's right. It's a package deal with her son. She provides a roof, food, electricity, cable, Wi-Fi, and water, yet you're ungrateful. It sounds like she'd be foolish to stay with you. Imagine working all day, paying bills, cooking, shopping, and more, while your partner refuses to pick up your kid because it disrupts their hobbies. A house with 2 adults and an older teen can't get that dirty overnight. This relationship seems one-sided in your favor. You sound heartless. 6 years together, and you don't care about the teen living with you full-time. Even if you don't care enough about your partner to help when she needs you. I hope she reconsiders this relationship. You're a red flag. I could barely read this. It's cringeworthy. How can a grown woman act so selfish and spoiled? Do you clean at a snail's pace with a dainty handkerchief, afraid of fainting from exhaustion? You're the idiot. Learn some manners and apologize to both your girlfriend and her son. Even if he doesn't always like you, treating him like a burden will only solidify that. A good, cherished relationship doesn't have to be romantic. He's her child, not a yappy dog, and he's nearly an adult. Show some respect and care before she decides she and her son are better off without you. We used to rent out our basement, but our family grew, so we needed the space. 2 years ago, we gave our tenants 6 months' notice to move out. A month before leaving, they incorporated a business using our address without telling us. It had a random name, and FedEx packages arrived that I refused, fearing a scam. The tenants informed us after noticing tracking issues, so I accepted their business packages temporarily. After they moved out, we asked them to update their address. For a year, their mail kept coming, but no FedEx packages. I texted them to pick up their mail and change their address. After a year, I started marking their mail, return to sender, this person doesn't live here, and stopped texting. Last week, a FedEx package for their business arrived, and I refused it, saying we have no business here and don't know what it is. Minutes later, the former tenant texted, cursing me for rejecting the package. I told them they don't live here anymore and to stop sending mail to my house. They replied that I always texted before, and they now live in an apartment and work during the day, so they can't receive packages and must drive an hour to FedEx. I said no, I won't accept it, and they need to update their address. My husband thinks I should help since they were good tenants, but I refused. It feels scammy, and I don't like their business still listed at our address. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It's suspicious that they incorporated a business at your address a month before their notice expired. It feels like potential fraud. If they need a mail drop, UPS offers mailboxes for that purpose. There's no reason their business should use your address 2 years later. This is highly suspect, and you should alert the appropriate agencies. Your former tenant has some nerve expecting you to be their free UPS store and getting mad when you refuse. It's concerning they're using someone else's address for deliveries. I'd open the next package to ensure nothing illegal is inside, as they might be hiding purchases from a partner. Even if it's not sketchy, it's rude to keep using your address after you've repeatedly asked them to stop. They can get a P.O. box for a few bucks a month. It's not your problem. You've been generous enough. Recently, it was my husband's birthday, and I made and decorated a nice, average-size themed cake with a lot of love and effort. It turned out great and tasted good too. I posted it on social media and people commented, wishing him a happy birthday and complimenting the cake, with some saying, "I'm coming for a slice." Over the next couple of days, friends and family came over and we served them cake. A friend who lives far away and isn't close to my husband messaged me, saying she'd be in town the following weekend, about 10 days later, to visit family and asked me to save her a slice. I laughed it off, thinking she was joking with the typical "save me a slice" comment people don't expect you to take seriously. Plus, she's extremely flaky and rarely follows through on plans. She insisted she was serious. I said we're happy to serve cake to anyone who comes over, but can't save pieces, especially if it means holding back from family and friends at our house. Also, the cake would be too old by then and likely moldy. She told me to freeze it. For her. Annoyed, I said I'd serve cake to guests, but wouldn't freeze any for anyone. She acted like I was stingy and uncooperative and got annoyed. The cake was finished soon after by us, friends and family. She did come to town that weekend, but I met her with our girlfriends for an outing, so she didn't even come to my house, as planned. Still, she brought up the cake in front of everyone, saying I didn't save her any, trying to make me look bad. Technically, I didn't save her any cake, but the situation was different than she implied. I'm always a generous host with food and gifts, and have given her and other friends plenty of food over the years, either as gifts or by hosting dinners and parties, something she never does. I've even made and gifted whole decorated cakes. Before, when I visited her in her city at her insistence, she didn't host at all, not even offering a cup of tea. We just went out to eat and paid separately. Now I'm seen as a selfish, ungenerous idiot for not saving her cake. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your friend is pathetic for getting mad that you didn't deny your husband, his family, and your mutual friends a piece of his birthday cake to save it for nearly 2 weeks, risking food poisoning. This is ridiculous. Who wants cake that old? Apparently, someone's super entitled. If she's acting like this over a slice of cake, you might need to rethink the friendship. Friends don't make you feel this way, especially over something so trivial. She's childish. I'd have made an unappetizing cake, unwrapped in the freezer, too much baking soda, no sugar, nothing toxic, just gross, and given it to her. She's dramatic, trying to make you look like a bad hostess. Save me a slice is a throwaway line, not a literal request. Go no contact, block her on all platforms, delete her number, and move on. You deserve better friends. My sister is getting married next month. My kids will be 4 months and 2.5, and she's declared her wedding child-free, which I understand and appreciate. When she announced this, I told her I probably wouldn't attend because of my baby, as I was pregnant at the time. She brushed it off. Last month, she asked me to be a bridesmaid, and I reminded her I couldn't come due to the wedding being child-free. She got upset, but dropped it for a few days. She later asked why, and I explained that my daughter is exclusively breastfed every 3 hours and won't take a bottle under any circumstances, despite my efforts. I literally can't leave her. She got upset, saying the baby would take a bottle if hungry enough, which I disagree with. After more arguing, I told her she could either let me bring the baby or I wouldn't come. More arguing followed, and when she insisted, I needed to be there. I said she'd have to reschedule her wedding then. I also mentioned childcare for my oldest, who's autistic and has severe meltdowns, would be tough. She got huffy and left. Since then, my family has treated me like I threatened to harm her firstborn. I feel awful for upsetting her, and know I could have been kinder. Am I the idiot? A child-free wedding is reasonable, but if it's a strict rule, you must accept that some people, especially those with newborns, might not attend. You're not the idiot. This is the consequence of her choices, not yours. I had a similar issue with my cousin's child-free wedding a month after my date. I thanked her for the invite, but declined to be a bridesmaid because I'd have a 4-week-old. She went ballistic, and 9 years later, she still doesn't speak to me. It's awkward at family gatherings, but her reaction looks more unreasonable. Over time. Your sister knew you were pregnant and still scheduled the wedding near your due date. Couldn't she make an exception for newborns? They don't cause chaos. They mostly sleep. If she really wanted you there, she'd accommodate your kids, whom she's known about all along. You can't leave your baby due to feeding, and what sister or aunt wouldn't want her niece fed properly? Tell her if she wants you there so badly she can find and pay for appropriate childcare for a special needs child and a newborn.